On this day, the 7th of January, 1536, the death of Catherine of Aragon. Catherine of Aragon was born on the 16th of December 1485, just a few months into the reign of England's new Tudor dynasty, in which she was destined to play a defining role. Catherine was the youngest daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella, the Catholic monarchs of Aragon and Castile, who effectively united Spain. After prolonged negotiations, Catherine was married to Prince Arthur, the son and heir of Henry VII. She came to England and was married in 1501, in a lavish spectacle that spoke loudly of Tudor permanence and security. The new couple moved to Ludlow on the Welsh borders, where Arthur was to train for the time when he would succeed his father. But it was never to be. Arthur died the following year, aged just 15. Whether or not the young couple had consummated their marriage would become a critical question in later years. Arthur was reported as saying after his first night of marriage that he was thirsty, for I have been in the midst of Spain last night, and that having a wife is a good pastime. Catherine always insisted that nothing had happened. Kept in the cold by her father-in-law Henry VII, the young widow's future was uncertain for many years. Only with the old king's death and the succession of his second son as King Henry VIII did Catherine's fortunes change. The 17-year-old seems to have been smitten with his 23-year-old sister-in-law. The two were quickly married and seemed incredibly happy. Over the next 8 years, Catherine would give birth to 6 children, 2 sons and 4 daughters, but only one child would survive infancy, a daughter, Mary. By the late 1520s, Henry's urgent need to secure a male heir led him to try and set Catherine aside in favour of another, Anne Boleyn. Henry called on the Pope to annul the marriage on the basis that she had been Henry's sister-in-law and the Bible forbade marriage to a brother's wife. Catherine contested this approach on the basis that her marriage to Arthur had never been consummated. The Pope, forced to be a political realist and a hostage to Catherine's nephew, Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, refused to give Henry what he demanded. Henry and Catherine separated in 1531, and in 1533 Henry had the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, annul the marriage, though the king had not waited for this before marrying Anne Boleyn. Henry had broken with Rome and had himself appointed head of the church in England to achieve this aim. Catherine continued to mend Henry's shirts in the forlorn hope of their reunion. Loved by the people, Henry kept her isolated in her later years, even preventing her from seeing their daughter Mary. On the 7th of January 1536, aged 50, Catherine died at Kimbolton Castle in Cambridgeshire. She was buried at Peterborough Cathedral, where her tomb can still be seen today. There were rumours at the time that she may have been poisoned, and Henry and Anne were reported to have worn yellow at a party when they heard the news. Some have suggested that this was a mark of respect, claiming that yellow was a Spanish colour of mourning, but others saw their delight and the showing off of their daughter Elizabeth as vulgar and disrespectful, displaying happiness at the passing of a woman who Henry had deeply loved, the longest serving of his 6 wives, his first and perhaps his only true love.